Today, I'd like to welcome Beau Brown from Powerhouse Raters. Welcome, Beau.
G'day, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So please introduce what it is that your business does.
My business really caters for two groups of people. So firstly, we provide consulting to builders, architects, designers that are looking for energy efficiency advice to pass the planning protocols and the building code protocols, applying through council for a building permit. So I do energy ratings to help them. And the second group of people is homeowners or tenants that have got high bills, or they're wondering why their home's using so much power or so expensive to run. So we do ratings for them, go into their homes and give them advice on how to save money on their bills and have a more efficient home.
Fantastic. And what sort of geographic area do you actually cover then, Beau?
Well, so for the planning advice for builders and architects, we do that Australia-wide in all states and territories in Australia. Every state's got their own legislation, but we cover all states. And for homeowners, we mainly do those in the local area in Albury, Wodonga. Within sort of 200 k's of Albury, Wodonga. And we have travelled in the past a little bit further than that, but that's our main area.
Yeah. So in terms of energy ratings, tell us what that actually means.
So basically, your home costs a certain amount each year to run. It's fixed appliances. So your heating and cooling, your lighting, your hot water system, all of those add up to a certain price per year. But what influences that mainly is heating and cooling. That's the biggest user of energy in the home. And that's all determined by how much insulation you've got in your walls, what kind of windows you have, which way they're all facing, how the home sort of performs. And that's what we do. We model that in computer software to see, based on the design choices and based on the way the home's built, the amount of insulation and windows, that software can estimate what those heating and cooling loads will be, how much energy will be used by the home throughout the year.
Yep. And then, so based on that, then, are you able to give your customers and clients recommendations on what they can do to make some further savings?
Well, that's really where our sort of focus is giving customers the options and advice to improve their home's energy efficiency. So those options, we want to be cost effective. We want people to get a return. If you spend X amount of dollars, how long is it going to take to pay that off and start getting a return on the investment? That's what our focus is on. And especially for people that are living in their homes, they might be considering renovation. So we want to sort of help guide them to make choices that are going to save them money in the long run.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess just given in today's economic environment and all the word that's going around about our energy resources and in particular costs, that would be a very valuable service that you're offering.
It is. I mean, of course, everyone wants to do their little bit for the environment when they can, but often the problem is that these green solutions or energy saving solutions tend to come with a premium sort of price tag, and that puts a lot of people off. But to be able to say that there's small things that you can do, things that even don't cost money, that's a big thing. That just making some simple design choices that may not cost anything to build, but can give you returns in the long run. That's what people are interested in.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Beau, tell us, how long have you actually been in business for?
So I just started Powerhouse Raters about 12 months ago. I previously worked in the same field as a full-time employee. So I sort of just decided that, I like the benefits that come from having my own business, a bit more choice and control over the direction that I wanted to sort of take in what I'm doing. So I was really excited, 12 months ago to finally make the leap into having my own business.
Fantastic. And in terms of, taking that leap, what's been one of the big, or a couple of the biggest challenges that you've actually faced in making that decision?
I think probably two challenges stood out for me. The first one was competing, I suppose, against other established businesses, finding, what was unique about my business model or my services, identifying what that was, because I quickly learned that I couldn't compete necessarily on price. I think that's, the trouble at the start. You feel like you've got to come in and be the cheapest to win business. But when you're a consulting service, I just find that, the discounting model, discounting your rates, don't actually work in the long term, because you end up being really busy, but at the end of the day, your balance sheet, you're going, oh, I'm not actually making much, but versus, focusing on selling what's unique about your business, getting clients that see that value and are willing to pay more. You might not have as much work at the start, but you've got high quality work and you've got more time to develop the business, pursue new leads, versus always being busy but not getting anywhere. So that was the first challenge. And I think the second challenge was just sort of filtering out all the noise, just being able to have a clear sort of strategic plan or path. There's so many, especially when you're new to business, everyone's competing for your attention, and working out, who to give your attention to, what's actually going to help you achieve your goals, and filtering out the rest. That was a challenge too.
Yeah. So how to avoid the bright, shiny objects.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
And so what's been your biggest learning that you've had since you've started the
biggest learning? Yeah. I think the thing I learned was investing in yourself gives you the biggest return. I think sometimes, we see all these, business plans, investing in different things, but the best for a new business owner to invest in yourself first, to, put that time into developing your skill set, what you can offer, focusing on yourself first. I think that was what I learned, that the things that you can achieve are really limitless if you take that time to put into yourself.
Yep.
That's my biggest learning. I was just surprised by what I could accomplish, things that I never thought were possible when I was working for someone else. But just taking that time. Yeah.
And what were some of those things?
Well, the first thing was, for example, I built my own website from scratch, just learning some new skills with, IT development, things that, perhaps you might pay someone else to do, but they were of interest for me, and I had spare time, and I just, learning a few new skills like that. And even teaching, that was something that I sort of got into as well. I never thought I'd be able to teach to others, about our field, and recently Design Matters have engaged me. That's the sort of the peak body for the building design profession. Engaged me to do some teaching of fellow assessors, other energy raters, and
done.
And I just I didn't think that was me, but sort of taking the time to build some of those skills has opened up new opportunities for me I never thought possible.
Wow, that's really interesting, Beau. So I think you've just answered one of the questions I was going to ask, which is, what have you learned about yourself along the journey?
Yeah.
I think you just answered that. So what would you say to anybody that was thinking about going into business? What would be your words of wisdom and advice?
I just think Well, firstly, you've always got to count the cost of anything, and I think to be adaptable to the direction I first thought my business was going to take sort of changed as time went on, and I think that's the power of being a small business, whether it's a sole trader, a small partnership, is being able to pivot, being able to change direction quickly in response to what's going on. And that's what I found I had over the larger companies I worked for. For example, to retool to use a different software program for my energy ratings. A large company would spend thousands of dollars training new staff to change direction, to use a more appropriate software tool or a more powerful tool. But I could do that at very little cost, and I could, adapt to the changing market. And that's what I think, for new businesses starting, use that to your advantage. If you see something that you can change, well, do it when you're small, because it's easy. When you're a large company, it's not so easy.
Yeah, fantastic. So what what does the future look like for your industry?
Well, this year, the minimum star rating or minimum level of energy efficiency for new builds is increasing to 7 stars from 6 stars. So that's a big jump up in terms of the expected performance for new homes. And it just looks like builders, designers are struggling to find people that can give them the right advice to help them implement that, because that's going to be a huge cost. And I think if you don't have a good advice, it's going to cost clients thousands of dollars on each build to be upgrading their home to minimum standard. So I think the future for our business is we're really going to focus on educating builders, educating consumers on how to do this cost effectively. And that's just going to be in more demand now and in the future. And what looks like it's coming in for existing homes is mandatory disclosure. So what that is when you buy or when you offer for sale a property, or you offer for lease a property, you have to disclose the rating of the home, the energy efficiency rating, and that's going to give consumers choice and control, so that they know up front what it's going to cost to live in that home. I might pay a little bit more rent, but it's going to cost so much less per year to run, and they've got an informed decision. So when that comes in, that part of the business is really going to grow. There's going to be a huge demand for that. So that's what we're trying to plan for, have our systems in place so that when that does happen, we're ready for it.
So just tell us a little bit about the 7-star rating. Is that sort of a state-based system, or is it federal, or is it across multiple states? How does the 7-star rating actually work?
So the National Construction Code is a federal-based building code that sets the minimum standard for buildings in Australia, and that's set at a federal level. And then the states and territories then choose whether or not they adopt that standard. So the building code, or the federal level, has been set at 7 stars in NCC 2022. And then Victoria's agreed to adopt it. And New South Wales have agreed to adopt it in a sort of a roundabout way. But some of the other states and territories like WA, Tasmania, they're sort of pushing it off. They're saying, we'll adopt it in 2025. So each state has little variations, but so far, New South Wales, Victoria, they've agreed to come on board.
Fantastic. Thanks for giving us that overview, Beau, because I think a lot of the people that will be watching this video, it'll be new stuff, new news for them. So thank you.
It is fairly new, and I think too, for builders especially, whether it's volume builders or even smaller builders, the energy rating was something that was considered right at the end of the process. You send the plans off to get the energy rating, get the engineers drawings, like the design's already finalized, the client's already fallen in love with their house. And then to get told, oh, we can't build that because, it's not going to be efficient. Well, that's not going to get them a sale, that the client's going to walk away. So we want builders to come on board earlier and say, well, here's a sketch of what the client wants, what can we do to make this work? And the earlier that, we get involved in the process, the cheaper it is for the client in the long run.
Right. Yep. Fantastic. And what would you say, the future is going to, or future challenges for both your business and you personally? What do you see those main challenges being?
Well, obviously, like the 7 stars, a big one, but I think in terms of future changes, I think there's new technologies coming on board, new and exciting ways to save money in the energy efficiency space. I think batteries are going to become a big thing. So we've had the solar boom, but batteries, when they come down in price, just seeing homes being less dependent on the grid. As energy prices go up, as we have these brownouts and blackouts in the hot summer months, energy demand, not being able to be met. I see homes that are resilient, that can cope with being disconnected from the grid. I think they're going to be in more of a demand as future goes on. So I think that's sort of an exciting space to be watching for, if you're looking at getting into renewable energy, sort of future-proofing your home. If you're making renovations or alterations, that's the time to consider these things. Because it's a lot cheaper to do when you're extending a home or you're changing. I think that's something that homeowners should be watching out for.
Yeah, fantastic. And for the future, what challenges do you see personally for yourself?
I think growth for us is probably a big one. I'm the sort of sole or lead consultant, if you like, but sort of as we grow, how we, tackle that, whether we need to hire or train new employees. I think handling that is going to be the next challenge, and succession, I suppose you could call it, is a big one. So I'm trying to sort of plan for that. And I'm excited though, because it's a growing industry. It's only sort of 20 years old, this industry, and it's growing, and more people are concerned or interested in it. So it's definitely on the way up.
Well, we certainly wish you well on that journey, Beau. Do you have any final words of wisdom before we finish up for anybody that's viewing this video?
Yeah, I think firstly, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. If you've got an idea, sometimes just take the lead. It doesn't hurt, and you learn a lot more from failure than you do from success. I think, some of the things that I did when I started my business, I sort of, made some mistakes, but that's all right. The things I learned from that, I've learned, and sometimes learning the hard way is not a bad thing, because you learn, you make the changes, and you move on. So don't be afraid of failure. I think that's a big one. And also to get good advice. I think I talked to other successful business owners, talked to one of the largest, allied health services in the Albury-Wodonga region, talked to them about, how did they establish from a single, sole trader like me to grow to such a successful business, learning from those type of people. They're the people you want to surround yourselves with if you're getting into business.
Absolutely great advice. Thank you so much, Beau, for your time today.
No, thanks, Phil.
And for anybody that may be watching this video, feel free to reach out to Beau at Powerhouse Raters. to get some advice on your own energy ratings within your homes and businesses. Thanks, Beau.
Thank you so much.